Living in the age of high short-term interest rates, a cost of living crisis, and a national debt crisis, it's very easy to believe that we're all in bad financial shape and we should all be worried. But it's not the case for everybody. In fact, you could be in far better financial shape than you realize. But let's look at the root causes of why we worry so much. We are bombarded with negative financial news on a daily basis and overloaded with astronomical levels of debt loaded on our credit cards. Phrases like loan default, credit crunch, debt ceiling have become the daily diet on the mainstream news networks. Extended exposure to all this can lead to worry, stress, and anxiety. After all, in the US and Canada, money, or the lack of, remains the #1 worry for most people. So given this stressful time that we live in, it's a good opportunity to remind ourselves that actually, we're not doing too bad at all. In fact, you may be in a better financial position than you realize. Right here, I have 6 signs that will provide an excellent measure of your financial health. Each of them together will give you a full picture of your financial preparedness. By the end of the video, you'll have all the tools to know just how good your financial position is. And if you feel like you're lacking in 1 or 2 of them, you can use it to bolster and focus your efforts. After all, I'm sure you've heard of the phrase, being financially healthy is the path to being wealthy. Okay, let's get right into it. #1, hitting your monthly budget or coming close to it. Now, if you're hitting your monthly salary budget each month, you are done here, well done, move on to the next one. If like the rest of us, you're having to adjust and check, dealing with unknowns, then guess what? You're still doing great. Well done. The fact you're doing a monthly budget and you're trying to stick to it puts you ahead of most other people. Setting up and running a monthly budget is relatively simple if you use a template similar to this one. This allows you to put everything in and see where you need to adjust, pay more attention, and also see any trends that show up over the months and the years. Now, years ago, I used to keep the budget in my head. It doesn't really change from month to month, but by not having it written down will give me an excuse to bend the rules or even break them. The best thing for me about salary trackers is at the beginning of the month, I can start on the right foot and set realistic goals. I find that the budget needs to be written down and fixed, and that way it sets me up for success to hit my goals and hit my targets. As with all 6 of these signs, we have to make sure that everything is realistic so it gives us the best chance of being successful. After all, this exercise is all about making ourselves feel better and not making ourselves feeling any worse. #2, emergency fund. You've got one, right? You know the score here. It's 3 to 6 months' expenses. Rent or mortgage, food, travel, utility bills, everything you need to survive. If you haven't quite got 3 months minimum in your account, then you should put this into your tracker and make sure you build this account up. Having this fund gives you peace of mind. It provides a bit of a safety rope and it gives you confidence in your daily life that you've got a backup if you need it. We want to maximize our salary budget every single month. And by having this emergency fund aside, any emergencies that do come up, they're covered. And when you get to my age, you'll understand that something comes up almost every single month. Whether it's new tires, visitors coming to the house, a big expensive day out for the kids. Now and again, a really big emergency will come up. It may be replacing your roof or even replacing your car. We have to be prepared for this and make sure we've got the funds. These substantial necessities will put a huge dent in your monthly budget, so having that emergency fund is critical. So if you've got one set up or have one almost full, well done. Remember, over 70% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. They have no savings, so you are ahead of the pack. If you're finding some value in today's video, join the community and subscribe below. Together, we can make wealth building simplified. #3, wealth signaling. Don't do it. You don't advertise your wealth or show it off. Or even worse, act like you're wealthy with expensive trappings. This is a fool's game. It's a wealth killer and a resource-sapping endeavor that plays into consumerism. Flaunting wealth is very unpopular, and I'm sure you've experienced people doing it once or twice in your life. In fact, a study published by Sage Journals found wealth signaling made people unattractive, the complete opposite of what they wanted. During the tough times of COVID, high inflation, and the cost of living crisis, who wants to see a 30-year-old with a new Audi GT and a Rolex? This is not the mindset to emulate. It's also a valid point to remind ourselves not to be influenced by what we see in social media. Not everything we see is true. Indeed, when I see somebody flashing their wealth on social media, that's a hard skip for me. #4, your manageable debt paid off every month. If you have your debt under control and your credit card paid off each month, you are definitely on the right path. The average credit card debt in the US is $6,500 and rising every single month. In 2023, the total credit card debt in the US was $1.1 trillion. That's an eye-watering amount. Considering the average interest on credit card balances is about 22% a month, it is critical you have this paid off every single month and you don't incur any of these charges. It is consumer debt, bad debt, that's the driver here. And if you're living below your means, you're doing really well. Consumer debt and high credit charges go hand in hand, and this is a fundamental issue of the poor. So if your debt, particularly credit card debt, is under control and being managed, then you're doing far better than you realize. you're certainly doing a lot better than most other people. So number 5, we just mentioned living below your means. So you'll know you'll be living below your means by your monthly tracker. You'll know you'll have money to save, money to invest, and have all your bills paid off. Beyond that, if you're able to lower your expenses and live on a budget and enjoy yourself and be happy, you're really setting yourself up for a successful retirement. By using the 4% rule to draw down on retirement, assuming an 8% interest return, you will need $1.25 million to give yourself a $50,000 income from your investments. By getting your money mindset ready during your investment years, you will stop chasing the more is better consumerism that so many get sucked into. You will find contentment with the happiness we have and leave behind the impulsive, buy good vibes spending behind you. When you master that, living below your means becomes a simple and happy lifestyle. Number 6, the last one to best. You're doing well on your income. A good measure of your financial health is your income, but maybe we feel like we don't earn enough to cover all of our expenses and to save for the future. Here in Canada, the average salary in 2023, according to Joblico, was $63,000 Canadian, while in the States, that was $59,000 US. Now, depending on where you are in your career, these numbers could seem really good or maybe a bit poor. But in reality, most of us compare our circumstances, like income and property, to those around us. Now, while we may find ourselves doing better than most other people, the effect of having one or two around us doing better than us can outweigh all the others. Being better than most others makes no difference to us psychologically. The feeling of failure stemming from the one or two friends that are doing better than us will be the lasting cycle we will fixate on. So instead of celebrating our successes, it's far easier to endure the cycle of failure in the shadow of the 10% that are more successful. Now, this seems to be influenced by society in general, as we are bombarded by the trappings and material show of success that apparently we all should want. So instead of judging your incomes and your earnings by society's lens, stop comparing yourself to others and benchmark against yourself. Celebrate your wins and celebrate your successes. You're doing really well. Don't let yourself focus on the negatives, which we are constantly being spoon-fed. So that is a lot to go over and consider, but I think it's really important that we have a full picture. It's so easy to fall prey to the never-ending barrage of wealth signaling every day. It's easy to give in to the unrealistic status symbols that are thrust on us, giving rise to feelings of failure and falling behind. It takes the focus of how far we've come and what we've achieved. Using all these measures, we can see with accuracy and certainty just how far ahead we are and the bright and successful future that we are building and the happy and healthy lives we are living. And if you need to work on a couple of these measures, now you can go away, apply a little positive action and raise your game a little. Your net worth is growing consistently and healthily, and that's what's most important. Celebrate you, the individual, forget about social media, and focus on your happiness and your future wealth. If you enjoyed the video today, subscribe below. I've got a lot more coming. In the meantime, here's some videos for you to check out.